Hey y'all, welcome back to ASoulFulT. And on this episode, I'm gonna get a little personal, a little juicy. I just enjoy sharing my experience with people because I believe that everybody has a story, and our story can shape somebody's life. I also was warned by his roommate that I should be very careful with this guy because this guy was doing some illegal things. So I've seen the red flags. I can take full accountability. I graduated a couple of months after finding the identification cards, and he said to me that he wanted to move to Pittsburgh. So I'm like, okay, this will be a fresh start. At the time, he was working overnight doing security. He had gone to school at LaGuardia Community College. And I was like, okay, so maybe he is changing. And at times I felt like I was making excuses. I wanted to be with this person. I wanted things to work out. I wanted to become a wife. I wanted to have my own children. And I visualized that with him. So we get to Pittsburgh. And on our way down to Pittsburgh, y'all, it's not just him and I. It was him, I, and one of his Nigerian friends. The Nigerian guy is the guy that we were supposed to sublease the apartment to. But things get a little bit hectic because once we get to Pittsburgh, the house is already rented by a Nigerian woman. So we move in, and this woman says, this Nigerian woman, older woman, she says, you guys can't stay here. She says, because I live here, I am trying to leave my husband. My husband is abusive, and you guys can't stay here. This was a one-bedroom apartment. A one-bedroom apartment. There wasn't much space. Him and I ended up sleeping in the living room on the couch while she had the bedroom. Y'all, I said to myself, what the I get myself into? What am I thinking? He had no plan. He had absolutely no plan. And I began to get into survival mode. So that is how I ended up coming to Charlotte, North Carolina. I stayed with my sister, and then I ended up going to school and staying on campus at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. And before I moved, what really put the icing on the cake is that one day I was going job hunting. I was trying to get a job so I could have some income coming in. I was printing out my resumes. I was going to a whole bunch of different businesses. Mind you, I had no vehicle. And his vehicle had got a flat. It started having some transmission issues. So we didn't have a vehicle. But I still was willing to work with him, and he wasn't willing to work with me. I think he had it in his mind, his intentions, and he basically love bombed me. And he was very strategic. I must say he was very, very strategic in his plan. But what was my deal breaker was one day I came home from job hunting, taking all these multiple buses, trying to be able to feed myself and feed him. Um, he was in the bathroom, and his laptop was on the couch. So I put my bag down and I look on the computer screen, and guess what I see? I seen my identification ID on his computer. When he got out the bathroom, I said to him, why do you have my identification card on your computer? And he basically said something to the extent of he's trying to find and I said to him, why didn't you ask? Like, why didn't you just ask? So I ended up moving out and I ended up relocating. And months later, I received a letter from TD Bank saying that I was under investigation for fraud. I had to reach out to an attorney, basically told them that I was scammed. I was scammed by somebody that I live with, and he was not prosecuted because I didn't want to put him in jail. I had a lot of empathy, not for him, but for his mother, because I've spoken to his mom numerous times on the phone. We FaceTime her, and I was just so heartbroken. I wasn't heartbroken to the point where I wanted revenge. I was heartbroken to the point where I just wanted to close the chapter and I wanted to just move on. A couple of years later, he marries this African woman. And y'all, when I mean the universe will move the way you need it to move so that it forces you to adjust, she ended up scamming him. So he scammed me, married an African woman, and the African woman ended up scamming him. And the only thing that I'm going to say is be very, very, very careful who you invest your time into, because time is something that you can't get back. I don't regret taking risks. I've always been a risk taker because I don't like to be complacent. And I feel like life is about journeys and experiences. I think my experience allowed me to elevate on a mental level, elevate on a spiritual level. There are so many people in the world that do other people just wrong, just grimy. And I'm so glad that I was able to heal through the situation. I'm extremely grateful that I have the strength to start over and to leave environments that serve me no purpose. If you are listening to this video and you have gone through some heartache, some pain, you have maybe fallen into depression, you have given your all to a person and all you constantly get is little to no effort on their end, I want you to know that it is okay to close chapters. It is perfectly fine and normal to close chapters and leave people behind that no longer serve you.